And without further ado, hey, we already have a crowd gathered. Why don't we introduce our guest of honor coming back for night 2 of this Help Me Be a DM session, or like a jam week. I don't know if it's really it's a session now. We have the Fox in a Box, who is joining us live via the magic of the interwebs.
Hello, people! My public!
My public.
Sorry. Sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm back.
Is this you, like, bursting in, like, sliding on your knees with the ukulele?
Yeah, with the lutalele, as I call it in my game.
The lutalele?
Yes.
Oh, well, you know what? A ukulele can help get us in the mood for a nautical campaign. I know it's more of a tropical thing, right? Hawaiian Islands and all,
Yeah, it is.
But music can really put us into particular moods.
Sure can.
And I think for a lot of DMs, this is another good tip. They use music for inspiration. I know Derek. Derek heavily relies on music to help channel his creativity.
He does. He's very good at the at anchors, as he calls them. Basically using music to influence the mood or enhance the mood, rather.
Yes, and especially in his live games, that is true. McGruber, is this going to be a series? It could, if there's enough demand for it. If this seems to be like a popular thing to do, I have no problem incorporating this kind of a thing here. Fortunately, Fox in a Box is being Frankenstein's monster, right? She's this experimental thing that we're creating.
Am I now? Do I need to come zap you with lightning, oh creator of mine?
Fox is stealing my shtick, says Derek, in stealing your stream. Hey, you know what? I'm happy if she steps up and she's asserting her ideas and stuff, and I end up riding shotgun on my own stream. I think we're actually doing things right here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Apparently, I'm a little quiet.
All right, let's try this. Go ahead and test ukulele.
Test. How's that? Is that better?
It sounded good to me. Oh, Fluffy Sheep says yay. So I think we have 2 cloven hooves up.
Woohoo!
The Fox
Yay.
rocks. Hey, Blood Deuce, welcome.
I'm rocking out on my ukulele.
All right, so we have grueling, excruciating work to do. Remember, this is D&D, not fun. And
Yeah, clearly we're not supposed to have fun here.
And so to get back in the mindset, yesterday we went through 4 characters: Delibean, or Delabean, or Delabean. Shymek, can you give some insight into the pronunciation? I like Delibean because it sounds like jelly bean, and I like jelly beans. Then we have not Marcellarian, but Mark Elarian.
Marcellarian's such a cool name, though.
I know, I love Marcellarian. I don't know if Coffee Cat's here, but maybe what you do is you be a sneaky fox, and you're like, so we're just gonna do this, and and there we go. And now perfect. I need you to come up with a last name, please.
Yeah, Mark Elarian. Hey, Coffee. I'm gonna need a last name. I know you have a last name, but another last name.
For reasons.
The reasons that are not very predictable. Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Pete. Good to see you guys too.
Yep. The boys are lurking. Well, and speaking of which, we're coming up to a very interesting time here, because then we went over English Roses, Rare and Dragonborn.
Rayorn. I think it was
Rayorn. Yeah, I think.
Magellan.
And then we had
Malgallon?
Wuwu Wikosi.
It's Wuwu.
The interesting. It sounds like a modern novel, or even like a new manga series. The interesting case of Wuwu Wikosi.
Yes, the curious case of Wuwu Wikosi.
Who flew in the face of everything you held dear, and you had several simple requests. and yet
Yes.
Wuwu was created despite everything.
Yes, it was treason.
The
I
wacky
had to
world
do
of
it.
Wuwu, Kosi.
Yes. That's better. I like the alliteration.
So you called Jeremy into your office and you said, "Look."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he took Wuwu, or you kept a copy, and maybe with his head held a little low, he said, "Fine, I will make a character." And so
That conforms to the rules. You must be a conformist. Everyone must be the same. No one is special.
and so with a knock on your door, Jeremy has come back.
Yes,
And
wiggling dejectedly.
Wiggling
Mind you.
dejectedly, just sort of blah, 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 and places a character sheet on your desk. And Wuwu, the name Wuwu is not even on the sheet. And so
Good.
he slides this in front of you, and I want you to, like,
Yeah,
we did
my
last
eyebrow
night.
instantly goes up at the name. Machoul, huh? Was he a cool guy?
Machoul.
Yes. Let's see what we got here. We got a fighter champion, level 6, soldier, chaotic neutral. Do you like the ukulele flourish?
Yeah. Like chaotic neutral strum, just out of nowhere. It fit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it. He has a very crude sense of humor. He's crude, lewd, and he's got lots of tude. And he's slow to make new friends. And this kind of goes along. His ideal kind of goes against the idea of soldier, which is interesting. He would make an interesting counterpart to Rose's Rayorn. Because he was also a soldier, but he values independence, which can be construed as insubordination. So that's interesting. He fights for those who cannot fight for themselves, so the soldiers are the nice guys, and the paladin and what was the other one?
The Valor Bard.
Yeah, they're not so nice. They're a little bit more every man for themselves. So this is a nice balance in the party. Monstrous. Okay, so there's a monstrous enemy he faced in battle, leaving him quaking with fear. Everyone has PTSD on this party.
It's a rough world, apparently.
I guess so.
Or this means your ship is attracting a kind of a scrappy crew.
I guess so. We got fighting style dueling. It's not my fault. How dare you, Mac? It's only my fault when I throw things at them. They started this. They're digging their own graves. They got their own shovels. I'm just going to add a little incentive later. Fighting style dueling, so they're good with a sword and shield. Because dueling doesn't... Shields work with dueling is
Correct.
what I'm trying to say.
It's just one weapon.
Mm-hmm. One-handed weapon, rather.
Well, yeah.
Is it
One hand, or wielding a weapon in one hand. That is correct. No other weapon.
Okay. Action surge, improve critical, blah blah blah. He's a dice set. Another person with dice. That's good. They can. Yeah. He in his tool proficiency he put land vehicles. It's probably going to be boats instead. And
yeah, soldiers do get land vehicle proficiency, but it sounds like you were going to be generous enough to give him water vehicles.
Yeah. That it just makes sense in this world, more than land vehicles anyway.
If that's the case, and he's a soldier, does this make him like a Navy corpsman, or is this
Possibly.
he belonged to a militia on one of the islands and had to learn to be a sailor?
Up to him, really. We have to consult the backstory.
Okay, then We shall continue.
Yes. Mac, please don't kick the puppy on stream. That would be a bad thing to do. Alright, let's see. He's got a treasure, which is an idol of a scantily clad lobster woman covered in barnacle. Captured from the Kuo-toa in a battle. Maybe it's a holy symbol of theirs. Or maybe you're strange and you like scantily clad lobster women. Who knows, really? I don't judge. Maybe that's his thing.
That could be.
Yeah, I mean, I played in a brief campaign where my character's dad had slept with everything under the sun. And the family was everything under the sun too. My character was human, mostly. Probably.
I mean, there's a point where you just go, yeah, like I'm 3/4 human by weight. You know, just, I mean, how do you measure this?
Yeah. Then I had like a half-elf half-brother, a half-orc half-sister, a tiefling sister, and a little sister who appeared human, but it could have been questionable. I love that man, though. He was amazing. He was like a child who wanted to just go adventuring. It was fantastic. I loved him.
So you're seeing a little bit of this character in Jeremy's new submission here of Machoul.
Yeah, whether intentionally or unintentionally, I'm seeing a little bit of it.
Well, nothing like an Aldani in a bikini to really get the memory going here.
Yeah, clearly. So let's see about the backstory. Seafaring life is all Machoul has ever known. So that explains a lot. Born to a family of sailors. Okay, so the backstory, kind of covers this. Mercenary sailor. Okay, so he wasn't actually part of the military. He was part of a mercenary organization. And that's his insignia. Which makes more sense. As to why his ideal is independent. What the heck with this backstory? Jeremy. And then the father was lost. But maybe he was killed by sea orcs? Because that's definitely not generic.
Well, I'm noticing something about this. What's your observation, though?
Well, his dad is missing, and there could be a whole arc about finding his dad.
That is true. I want you to focus your you have this budding DM third eye.
You. Horrible monster. Yeah, we touched on that. Probably an aberrant like an aboleth or something, right? Who knows? I like aboleths. They're fun. Kind of coolly and cute. I may be biased.
Do you see, before I speak any further, anything else that you see or observe? Is this a character that you would approve of? Did you go through the scores and everything? Does everything seem to add up?
I did look at the scores and such. Things seem to add up. It looks like he took his ASI instead of a feat.
No feat, yeah. Strength Dex Con.
Yeah. That all looks like it's okay. Looks like he's to took standard human. What do you see that I'm not seeing?
All right. Well, but just before this, is this with Jeremy standing at the desk? You know, he's watching you as you're reading this over. You know, you're going through this. You know, casually strumming your ukulele as you examine the character here.
I mean, it looks fine to me. I'm not trying to slip anything past me.
Mechanically, no. Mechanically, I think this is a well-built character.
Right. Mechanically, what else? What are you trying to say?
Look at the sheet and consider the circumstances. What are you finding is going on here?
Maddie, you're gonna have to help me out here. I'm tired.
That's fine. I want to make sure I'm giving you chances to just even if you're spitballing something here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go this through steps. So, Jeremy yesterday sauntered into your office,
Right.
and with his chest puffed out proudly, he slammed down Wuwu Wakosi, and pretty much just said, welcome me aboard, Captain. I'm on your crew, right?
Right.
And so here we have this kobold clan crafter who he was going to roll for his hit points, has just abysmal scores. So like he went against almost all tenets of what you put out there. Player handbook only, standard array, hit points +1 in progression.
Yeah.
Right, and so you had to talk to him about this.
Right.
And also take a look at his sheet. Right, take a look at Wuwu.
We had a lot.
There is so much here. Jeremy, on this submission, look, he wrote down everything for you, and he put extra notes.
He did.
Like notes within notes. This is noteception here.
Yeah. This is lacking that fastidiousness. I wonder if he'd be happy playing this character.
And now, to pause myself, or rather so I can ask you, what makes you say that?
It's just, there's a general lack of effort in this character that was in Wuwu.
And where are you picking this up? This is probably rhetorical, because obviously you have your ideas, but I want other people who are following along to understand your thought process, Fox.
Well, the biggest tell, I feel, is the little bit at the end of the character backstory. It stinks of lack of investment. There's not much story behind, like, the treasures. There's this ideology of the character that he's just treating things like another job, which is sort of reflective of how Jeremy himself might treat this character, just as like another character. You guys can chime in. I don't mind.
Yeah. If you want to chime in, I mean, try and give her first dibs on it. But yeah, you're welcome to provide your own analysis as we go along too. And the biggest thing that I saw here too, Fox, he made an attempt with this character to put a backstory in.
Yeah.
And it's all crossed out.
Oh, I thought it was underlined.
No, that's a strike through.
It doesn't look like that on my PDF sheet.
Oh, well.
that might have been a tell.
And then and then at the very end he just says, whatever. It's not generic enough. Orcs, whatever. Sea orcs killed my family and I'm out for revenge.
Yeah, that's pretty generic. Do you want to play this character, Jeremy? Doesn't seem like a Jeremy character.
Ah, ooh, ooh, ooh. Woo, 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 woo. What did you just say?
Doesn't sound like a Jeremy character.
Why is that an important thing for a DM to be able to say?
You can tell when your players aren't feeling it, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, I want them to be invested.
exactly. You want your players to show up and even to brag about their characters to, people, to their friends at work or school, on Discord channels or whatever. And
Yeah.
and look at what Jeremy, like, he kind of stomps in. Again, he's standing there as you're examining this. What does he have? He has a male human champion fighter with a soldier background.
Yeah. As I was reading this, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of your basic bread and butter. It looks like it was made to pander to the DM. If that makes sense. I think that's a little harsh to say, but it looks like I didn't get what I wanted the first time. I guess I'll just I'll just do what people are expected and make this safe character, this not exciting character. When, I know Jeremy wants to love his characters and I want my players to be excited about the story and their characters. Like, I brag about my characters all the time because I adore them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
so now
it felt like it was made of spite. There's like elements of like this low to trust personality trait makes party meshing harder. It makes blending in with the party harder.
And what happens with a player who's feeling spiteful and is running a chaotic neutral character, most likely?
You're not suggesting murder hobos, are you?
Well, maybe not murder hobos, but we have someone who has a crude sense of humor, who's running chaotic neutral, who's not invested in the game, and who's very detached. I mean, this is someone who... Oh, yeah, who needs diplomacy? I'm just going to swing my sword. I'm going to just crack jokes all the time. I'm not really going to pay attention because, well, my character's aloof.
Yeah.
Just tell me when there's sea orcs, and I'll do that. So with this situation, Fox, I mean, this is a perfectly legal character for what you had asked your players to do, and you have Jeremy in your office right now.
Probably.
What are you gonna say or do? You need to make a decision. Remember, DM stands for decision maker.
Yeah, I'd probably ask him if he was really happy with his character, because it doesn't seem like he is. I'd probably confront him about it.
Well, trust a flump, you're out there.
Yeah.
Your DM has noticed that your character sheet is not full of character. It's full of numbers, and it's full of something she sensed from you emotionally. She is empathetic as a DM towards you, and so what's going to happen? How can we make this right, Trust a Flump? It sounds like you want to play with her, and you submitted Wuwu with, hope in your heart, and then you submitted Machoul.
What's this alternate sheet that you're handing in now?
Well, I guess if you put it that way, I'm not feeling it too much, to be honest, but I did have this other idea.
Did you plan this, Jeremy? Are you ambushing Maddie on stream right now? It could be a player that wants to hang around with friends, but you have to ask. You have to check in, make sure that they're okay. Want someone who's invested. And maybe my game's not the game for someone who just wants to hang out with friends. that could be a thing. I as the DM have, certain standards and certain ability to say, look, I don't think you're going to have a good time in this game. You might want to look for something else. That's something the DM's got to be able to call on, I think.
And so, Jeremy pulls out another sheet here that, at least as it is indicated. Oh, is this going to start chugging?
Is that Wuwu or is that someone else?
It is, although it's opened in a browser.
Ugh. Yeah. Have fun with that, Maddie. I don't envy you this.
Let me see if I can fix this. Technical difficulties, everyone. Hang in there. Please listen to this wonderful ukulele in the meantime.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, you've killed him. Excellent job. Oh crap, new Wuwu didn't save! Shame.
And we're back. So Trust a Flump pulls out triumphantly. He has the folded paper in his pocket, and he says, "You know what? My heart wasn't in it. How about this?" And apparently he hands you the exact copy of Wuwu that you initially rejected.
I think he did make a new one, but technical difficulty. So
realizing he made a mistake and perhaps blushing furiously, realizing that the opportunity for negotiation was there, and
yes. So it's treason then again. Time to go kill all the orphan kobolds.
By the way, if any of you were wondering what a lobster folk looks like, this is an Aldani from Tomb of Annihilation. So put an Aldani in a bikini, and this is what Machoul is carrying around.
Indeed. You could make that sexier. I could draw that sexier.
So it sounds like he's willing to negotiate in some way, because he had an idea. It's just that he doesn't have it on him, and I'm sure that he is going to. He's telling you right across from here. All right, I'm sorry, Fox. I legit totally remade Wuwu last night as a reflavored halfling.
Well, that works as long as it goes with the within the rules I set out. Then I'm happy to accept Wuwu, the armless 2-foot halfling.
Ah. And so, Trust a Flump, are you willing to accept this negotiation with Fox?
This is not for a real game, but it's sort of a teaching tool. I asked Maddie to teach me how to DM, and then this series. God damn you, Jeremy.
Now I'll play Machoul. All right, well then I. Hey,
it's really for our streaming convenience, so there you go.
So it sounds like he's willing to do this, but if his heart might be in Machoul, you might get an awesome performance from this least likely, the most generic. I mean, I bet. Hang on, let me tell you. Is he like 5'6"? He's 5'8". He has brown
generic.
and short hair, brown eyes, and he has tan skin. This is the most excruciatingly mundane character, and yet,
lovely.
If his heart is in it, then actually, what Fluffy Sheep said earlier could even come true. This is the most like uniform, standard rote character that it's actually unique, because I've never seen one like this before.
Someone that wrote. fair enough. So let's move forward, even though we tried to run this little simulation, but it didn't quite work out how we wanted it to.
Yeah, I was
Love you, Jeremy.
I guess Jeremy was trying to help you out here, and it just didn't it just didn't seem to coalesce here. All right, so what we have to do now, if the show's gonna go on,
Yeah.
I'm gonna move the character sheet over, and there's a couple tools that I sent over to you. Now, this is not the only way to take a look at a party, and to sort of gauge now what does the party character sheet look like, not the individuals, but as a cohesive unit. If I'm going to be throwing these boys and girls into an adventure, what are some considerations that I can have going on?
Hang on. Need to open these files.
Yep, and while you do so, I'm going to make a couple adjustments here because we don't have
Wuwu.
Wuwu.
Yeah, those colors are wholesome. I like the colors.
And is this?
If the ukulele is bothering anyone, by the way, just let me know. I can stop tittling it.
Here we go.
Okay, I play it like I mean it then. Tittle to your heart's desire. Okay.
All right, we're gonna remove Wuwu,
Oh my.
and we're getting rid of Wuwu here. I think that. Oh. All right, so I'm gonna keep Wuwu's stats up here because I guess we can consider him for something. But
Yeah,
here we now have Machoul. And this is something I like doing, and Derek has a character map, and it's not that we can't we can't do that as well. This is more maybe for mechanical considerations, not necessarily for story considerations. But let's put down his scores.
Sorry, McGruber. I only learned how to play the ukulele like a couple weeks ago, so that might be out of my my range.
All right, so I'm putting in the scores, I'm putting in the saves. Passive perception's 13, passive investigation's 12.
I know, it's my fault.
Hit points and AC.
Yeah, throw that table, McGruber. God damn it! Stop with the request! I can only play Zelda's Lullaby and, like, Unravel from Tokyo Ghoul.
Alright, now let's take a look at the character sheet, at the skills that Machoul is bringing to the party. We have athletics. We have history. We have intimidation. And then we have perception. Now, I tend to be very visual, and I do like some color coding. I know it's weird that I don't do the character mapping. But at least when it comes to this, as a way to, this is a way to compare your characters and to find various strengths and weaknesses that we're going to be discussing here coming up. And a couple glaring ones. We have some skills that nobody in the party has proficiency in. Doesn't mean that you can't ask for animal handling, or you can't ask for it, because you certainly can. But you are going to wreck your party if everything is suddenly about religion and no one has it. Now, Mark is the closest because he is jack of all trades.
That's true.
But this is just searching for proficiencies. And
All
so
right.
I'm going to put a nice vivid red across the skills that no one is proficient in.
Good.
For those that have one character proficient, I'm going to color this yellow.
Dude. Oh, you call for a performance check, do you? I'm a bard in my other game, so beware.
Of course, I click out of it. Anyway, I'm going for yellow because while this skill is covered, only one person has it covered. And
It's the bard, though.
well, the bard for sleight of hand and stealth, it's Delibean for medicine, and it's Rayorn for persuasion. And what happens if Mark is having a night in port, and suddenly, a sneaking mission needs to happen, or Mark, you kidnap him or something, or he's not there. So there's no backup, right? This skill is riding on one person.
Alright, and if he goes off on some other thing?
Golmir, howdy. Can a person with a strength of 4 get out of bed in the morning? Yeah. At 4, I mean, you have kind of like a child's strength, so you can get out of bed and you can walk around.
The true question is, if you were depressed,
Oh.
how high of a DC on a wisdom save would you need to get out of bed in the morning?
Oh,
Sorry.
boy.
Dark humor is sort of my thing. Sorry if it wasn't in taste.
Hey,
Hi,
Diadems,
Diadems.
welcome.
Diadem.
For those skills that have 2 folks that are proficient in it, I go green. Green is for go. We have a backup. If
Yeah, that's
Mark,
good.
who is definitely the skill monkey of the party,
Yeah, well, that's how bards are.
yeah, if Mark is gone, then Machoul can be the lookout, or Delibean can be the survivalist, or Rayorn can be the deceiver, or Rayorn could be the investigator. Wow, so Mark is everywhere. Jeez.
Yeah.
And then we have actually 2 skills, which I color it sky blue because the sky's the limit. We have super, you are super safe with these.
Right.
And that's athletics. 4 of the 4 party members are proficient in it, and intimidation. 3 of the 4. I mean, if you want to make another color for all 4 of them, that's fine. But I think this gets the point across.
Yeah. Quite a motley crew. Why are you expecto patronating me? Ah, I see. Get rid of the demented Foxo in the room. I see.
Now, something also that Wuwu provided that we'll have to back off here is Dwarven and Draconic, and then Machoul is adding Elvish instead. Party tools, no herbalism or potter's tools. So if we back that off, and then we come back to Machoul, we had vehicles land with Rayorn. I don't know if you wanted to change that to water.
Could be, but
And if
that
that's
would
the,
be a
if that's
talk
the
with-
case, that would be like a ×2.
yeah. It's
And
nice
then-
to have 2 sailors on the boat to do different things.
And then Wuwu, instead of being a druid, we have Machoul, who is a fighter.
So
And
melee.
our fighter is he can do ranged as well. I mean, he has a really decent dex. But he is a duelist, so he's probably going to melee more. And
he's probably
that's
gonna be
pretty
the
much
heavy
it.
melee.
We just have a melee fighter.
Probably gonna be the tank, honestly.
And- This is a good reference for you. It's not the only way, and I want to stress that to you, Fox, and I know this is redundant, probably for a lot of what you've seen and done. But for those who are watching at home, this is one way you can examine your party. And as a DM, this really sets things out in front of you so you can see what the party is as a group of individuals. Where are they strong? What are ways that you can test them? How can you probe at them? Or how? Pardon me. How can you hook them?
Oh, McGruber. He's just subscribed for 2 months in a row.
Welcome back aboard, and Diadems, thank you for gifting that over to McGruber.
Yeah, lovely.
So McGruber, if you've been loaned those emotes, spam them if you got them.
Yes, your crippling Matty habits. I see how it is. All great DMs have Matt as the first name. Matty Morgs, Matt Mercer, Matthew Colville. It's just a pattern at this point.
Bubonic one wants the Sturge mini that I have in the orphanage. Then Bubonic, I'll make sure to set that aside for you.
Alrighty.
I'm the best is McGruber's emote.
That's good.
Now, we don't have to spend a ton of time with this because I want to introduce the concept and then we can provide some examples. And if you want to take this home as homework, you certainly can, Fox. This is a SWAT report. And is this something that you do with your engineering, or is this more of on the business end of things?
I have never seen this before. Yay! Do 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 do.
Ah. Then
this is a tool I have not been exposed to now.
So a SWOT report is for strength. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It is a way, primarily in business, but you could probably do it in other realms too, where you list out pros and cons, where you point out dangers or things that you can look forward to. And strengths and weaknesses are aspects of the project or whatever you're examining of the target that are internal to the target. These are things that are within the control of the project. Opportunities and threats are things that are external to it.
Jeez, this is very businessy.
It is pretty businessy, isn't it?
It falls within your wheelhouse, though. I can see why you would use it. Yeah,
and use what comes to you naturally. So for me, it's this business aspect report. For you, as an IT engineer or software engineer,
I'm
or
not
other
an IT
hardware
engineer,
computing.
Please.
What's that?
Please, I am not an IT engineer.
Okay.
IT and software are completely different, and I don't like IT.
I'm sorry if I somehow offended you, and therefore, if anyone in
fun.
IT's out there, I'm sorry if I offended you. And now I've put you two together, and I'm just going to get out of here. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh, hi, Crowley. Nice to see you.
Hey.
It's me.
I'm not even in IT, and I'm offended, says O'Sheeps.
Too bad. I don't hate them. I just find it needlessly boring. Soul-suckingly boring.
So if we take a look at the party as we've broken it down here, and there's way more aspects. I mean, you could list all sorts of things. You could make these colorful kind of bar graphs of who has what. This is just a condensed form of things.
Yep.
What would be a strength? Something internal to the party that you would consider?
They're very... they're a lot of survivalists. They're very physical as well.
Are we talking like strength or
just
like
in
physical
general,
stats?
They're athletic. They're, we've got these people who are really good at these sort of survival aspects, medicine. My goodness. Okay, sorry. They're survivalists. They've got a lot of stuff having to do with that. It seems like they got a lot of charisma-based things as well. Everything except performance, which, for shame. But
Okay, so I am seeing, if we take a look, for some reason, Wuwu is just such a little rebel here that I cannot seem to strip the color, the background color. So Wuwu apparently is snuck aboard the ship, whether you wanted him to or not. But so anyway, disregarding his 4 strength, we have 3 of the 4 characters who have 16 strength. Look at the deck scores: 11, 16, 13, 16. Khan, 14, 14, 10, 10, 14. These are all very strong scores. And so we do have a physical party, especially athletics.
Yes, and we also have a very charismatic party.
14, 16, 18, 9.
Yeah. The only one who's not charismatic is Machoul.
Yep. Poor Machoul.
Bye, McGruber. Have a good night.
Oh, I have an abnormally early Friday morning. All right, McGruber, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah,
You're here on Ukulele Request Live, and now that the now that the lines are open, everyone can make any request you want.
No, don't. I will throw you out of a window. There's a word for that, you know. It's called defenestration.
You are correct, and that is another awesome tool to wield as a DM. Is a girthy vocabulary.
Indeed. I have threatened to defenestrate some people in my time. Yes, defenestration. Sorry, thank you. And I have threatened to... That one could be a good one to look into. The Imperial March on Ukulele. Gotta find a tab for that, though. But yeah, this is SWAT seems to be pretty interesting.
Something else that I can point out is entertaining. While no one is good at performance, we have 4 different instruments, if you count whistling anyway, and
if you do,
and 2 dice set proficiencies, and maybe even a disguise kit for acting. Because look, you have a bunch of sailors on a ship and you want to put on a play. Sometimes you got to dress up and you got to look pretty. So we can maybe put that as a strength as well. Entertainment in its own interesting fashion. Now, what is a weakness of this party? What is something internal to the party that makes
They're not very
weak?
smart. Not very smart.
Int does seem to be the dump stat.
Yeah.
10, 10, 12, 14.
Dump skills, too.
Oh, and look at that. Nature. Nature and religion have 0.
Arcana.
And Arcana, too. And this is a world in which planes and magic are swirling and interacting.
They're gonna have a bad time. They're gonna have a real bad time.
I am seeing. Well, there's 1 con save and 1 strength.
There's no
almost
insight
everyone has
either.
like charisma. Jesus, charisma out the wazoo.
Wisdom skills are also pretty weak, except for the survival ones. But they don't have insight, which is an important one. Which means they'll totally be fooled when my colony of mind flayers absolutely befuddles them.
We are peaceful. Yes, you are welcome.
Yes. Would you like some tea or to play inside? As they all say in perfect synchronization. Nothing at all is wrong here.
Something else that I see as a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the party tools. What is a weakness there?
Party tool. They got a lot of good stuff, but nothing in the way of ship repair.
Crafting, ship repair. Like a first aid, either an herbalism kit or a healing kit. There's thieves' tools, but there's no real, like, crafting / artisan tools.
You would want, like, lumber tools on a ship.
So it seems like this is more of the...
they're going to have to recruit a shipwright, is what they're going to have to do.
You're going to need an NPC for this, for sure. And this is why we go through this practice, Fox, right? This is telling you, so you kind of have the goon squad of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Go make a beachhead so that we can send in people with the tools to make a camp or whatever. But, you know, clear the camp or negotiate with the natives. And I think they're going to be good at that.
Yeah, but they're not going to do so hot at other stuff.
But yes, if the ship gets damaged, or if downtime is probably going to be a little boring for them, unless they're whistling and playing the flute, because they're not going to have, as they're constructed, they don't have the tools to repair armor or to upgrade. You talked about this. You said you would love for them to start out on this like scrappy kind of a leaky bucket. These are probably more my words, but this kind of leaky bucket. And as they discover more treasure or make allies or whatever, that they're going to build a better ship.
Yeah, and you're right, Bubonic. There's no one who can navigate. That'll be fun. Let's point the ship in a direction. We've been sailing for 3 months. We're out of food. We're gonna die.
So hopefully, they'll get to recruit an NPC who can help make up for the weaknesses. Because in a party or for a project, this is why you do this, so that you take an honest look at yourself or a project, and you say, these are the risks, these are the downfalls.
Right. They don't even have a cook. They're gonna need a balanced diet, or else suffer the scurvy's wrath.
Suffer the scurvy. That's right. They actually do need to be limey from that vitamin C. Now let's discuss a couple opportunities and threats. Remember, opportunities are people, circumstances, things, events that are external to the party. That the party, it would benefit the party if it happened, but the party isn't necessarily in control of it. What are a couple opportunities that you see?
Alright, I guess, like, getting these NPCs as members of the crew or whatever is an opportunity that would be good for them. But it's entirely up to them whether they get it or not. Generally, allies, treasure that they could possibly find. It's a lot based on their own decision and what they choose to invest and explore.
Okay, so let's put things like treasure. For treasure, that would require things like, history could come into play, and we have 2 people with that. Investigation, to put clues together or a map.
Right.
Perception, maybe even survival to track down, to track down things.
Yeah.
So I think finding people or finding things is an opportunity. And if you present them with the opportunity to find a treasure, they will be generally good at doing so.
All right. And they wouldn't be very good at finding ancient texts and deciphering their religious meaning, or determining someone's heritage via their ears, because that's totally normal for humans to do.
Well, I mean, if you're human, you have round ears. Everyone else has pointy ears, so it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. I had a wizard in Fluffy's game, though, who determined a human's elvish heritage from touching her ears. She became the horny bard of the party, aka the ear fondler.
Well, I mean, you also did have a butt examination contest, so.
Yeah, we had the 2 boys roll for butts. It's a very weird campaign. Not gonna lie. It might partially be my fault for that.
But little details like that can really help make memories and help everyone have fun. When I was running Dark Heresy, we had a fun little thing where in 40K you can take like these rejuvenation treatments, and so you could be 200 years old as a human being, but you could look like you're, you know, in your late 50s. And so the thing to spot for was, for some reason, the elbows. Like it would like the elbow skin just always seemed to be immune to this treatment. And so you'd have to look and see if anyone's had their elbows trimmed up, or if their elbows were like really old and wrinkly, while they had a perfect face otherwise, to understand if they're getting these rejuve treatments. And so it's something weird, right? Look for the elbows. There it is, though, and it's a memory to this day.
Yep.
So in this case, fondle the ears.
Fondle the ears and butt-offs.
All right, so we have
Anyway.
treasure. I think anything athletic, climbing, swimming, stuff you'd probably have to do on islands, or to row a boat, or all this.
Right. That's all things they'd be good at.
Athletic features.
It's just generally, they're good at finding people. They're good at convincing people to do things. They could make deals. There could be a lot of opportunity for them.
What is a threat to this party? What would really get this party sweating?
Just internally, probably an eldritch horror of unknown origin, because that would be something they would have no idea how to combat, because they don't have the skills to know how to combat that.
Can I summarize that by just putting the unknown, because knowing things is not necessarily a strong point?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Sorry. They also have a smorgasbord of enemies, each of them.
Yes. If we do want to pull that from their character sheets, there are mentions of ne'er-do-wells that exist.
Yes, enemies that can find allies that also don't like what the party does.
What do you notice in the party roles summary?
Let's see. Melee, healing, melee. There's not a lot of range. And that might be vaguely important for a piratey type deal.
Ranged combat is now some of them can wield a bow per se, but they're really kind of built, or they're going to be best in a melee situation.
Right. Oh, there's offensive magic bubonic. It's just generally focused towards debuffing instead of blast.
And so if this is the goon squad, they're probably as NPCs go, they're probably going to want to hire archers, cannoneers, or people with long distance magic, and they're the ones who are going to be the boarding party or the repelling party.
Right.
Now you do have the between the paladin and the bard, because you did look at the spell list, or at least you know that the paladin on any given day could have healing, but the bard specifically did take healing spells. We don't have Wuwu as the druid to possibly, but so we have two healers, or people who could heal. You do have a bard that's technically high magic because he's a full caster, but he's the melee bard, so he's not the fullest caster.
Yeah, he's not the fullest caster in the world.
And your warlock has light magic. That's it could be used offensively, but a lot of it is also internal to the character.
Right. So, yeah, they're gonna suffer for ranged magic. Just in general, range is gonna be hard for them to deal with. They're gonna have a hard time with things like flying enemies, probably. Things of that nature, things with high mobility, if they're not able to immediately lock something down.
And one more aspect, especially given the nature of the story you want to run, what is something that 3 of the 4 characters possess?
Intimidation.
I mean, I guess if we're technically counting, I mean, we could say that paladins are like light magic and healing.
Okay, well, I guess 4 of the 4 characters have melee.
They have melee. What happens? What happens to 3 of the 4 characters if they enter a null magic zone?
That goes away. All that magic goes away.
What happens if 3 of the 4 characters enter a wild magic zone?
Fun times.
Hey! So you peek in on Tuesday, I see.
Occasionally.
This could be a strength in some ways. I mean, we can even put that up here, where we have a strength. It's an internal strength. We have a magical party that does have a variety of spells.
It's a variety of different kinds of magics.
It's also a threat, because if you disable or randomize or somehow take magic off of the table,
Yep.
3 of the 4 members of the party are not going to be as effective with their builds. Not that you as a DM have to at all times maximize what everyone could possibly do.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But this would be a pressure point on the party. This would be, you
roll
know
for
what?
wild magic.
Yeah, I want to see what they're going to do. They're going to a wild magic island. Enjoy.
Yes, enjoy this. Why did my hand turn into a scorpion and sting you in the eye? I am sorry. You're gonna have to get an eye patch now, bud. Yeah,
So,
they're living up to the part.
You could sit down and I mean, this could be an entire thing, and you could even go down here and you could write in some paragraphs, some notes and thoughts. There's plenty of room here for that. But I think we conveyed the idea of what this is going to end up doing.
Right.
And there's a bit of a sister document to this that I do want to I do want to bring up here. And so while this is the party comparison, I want to bring some attention now to the party layout. And in fact, this can be we have Wuwu here. And, well, Wuwu is going to end up being replaced here real quick, because we can do this a lot easier with Machoul.
This is sort of a summary of the party itself, rather.
Maybe the non-mechanical aspects of it?
Non-mechanical summary. And yeah, it's possible. I was talking to English Rose about an island based on the outer planes of Mechanus and how horrifying that would be.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of room for fun times.
So if you're reviewing this, you can see that I've extracted background information from each of the characters here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm filling in, I'm replacing Wuwu. Let's see, Independence, when...
Alas, Wuwu.
Yeah.
I knew you well.
Well, again, he could be lurking somewhere. He's a small kobold with no arms. He could be lurking somewhere on that ship.
Yeah.
When people follow...
Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and... Oh, sorry, dog. Dreams! Together we'll find everything that we're looking for. Sorry. I have fun with this.
Express yourself. Enjoy it. Get into it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, One Piece! This campaign is slightly inspired by One Piece and taking... basically stealing aspects from a variety of different places. You hate wild magic, Letus? Why is that? You can have a lot of fun with wild magic, especially if the DM makes you a custom wild magic table.
Ah, yes.
As terrifying as that one sounds. Yes. You've woken up the Tarrasque underneath the city. Have fun. Whoops.
Did I do that? All right, so we have our 4 characters. I'm sorry, what was that?
No, it doesn't. Yes, I watched that, Ethy.
Well, you know, Blood Deuce, and as a DM, you never have to use that or even allow for wild magic sorcerers. It's in this. These are the decisions that you have to make, right? So, Blood Deuce, if you're creating this campaign environment or this adventure idea, and Fox was doing the same thing off the same information, here you two would split because Fox sounds like she even wants to make a custom wild magic table, and you want to take that off the table, and both of those are correct decisions as a DM. If you're explaining that to your players, that hey, things can happen. You know, you can cast magic, but sometimes magic casts you. You know, if they know what they're going to get into, or as a DM, if you don't tell them, but you allow for adaptation, understanding, and your roll with the punches, then it could be fun and adaptive and a way to mix things up.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that idea of having a party of janitors that goes around to clean up another party's mess, and you're just like, God damn it! They left this dragon corpse here, and now it's turned into a zombie dragon. We gotta take care of this shit. 'Cause someone left this undone. So, that's fun. But let's go on to the companion document.
Yes.
What is the purpose of this?
All right, so this is the background information and a quick little summary in bold above of each of the characters. And there's a couple things that you can end up doing with this as a reference guide to you as a DM. This is a very good DM tool. And that's because you can now easily draw information from this sheet to find a way to connect characters or to take information from the character sheets and incorporate it into your thought process, into your game. And something that now Derek does this very well when he goes and he makes so he'll make the 4 characters, the boxes here, and then he'll write in the names.
Yeah, Derek's extremely good at character map. They allow you to make a conspiracy web to tie all of the characters together, and you can look like that one meme of what is it called? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I think, where he just stands over his giant conspiracy board with all the red string.
Oh yeah. And maybe Y and Z don't connect. I have paint up, and I'm just kind of messing around here. So you can do it visually. I mean, with text, but visually this way if you wish. And if this works for you, because we all have different ways of processing. If text is something that perhaps you can relate to, and especially if colors just tickle your eyeballs, you can do it in this fashion as well. And coffee, you did in
Coffee.
fact. I thought that was really good. So we noticed a theme in the party. For example, here the flaw. I don't expect me to save others who can't save themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so we take this sentence, and I don't know. Let's make it. Oh boy, I kind of have a. Why do I have such a limited palette in Office?
I don't know. Do you have that open source software?
I do. I'd have to reopen it in that, and I'm surprised that my open source software has myriad more highlights than.
Open source software is great.
Yeah. Well, all right. We're gonna do enough to get by, so you get the idea, all right? And then we can imagine other colors on top of this. So let's highlight this phrase. Don't expect me to save those who can't save themselves. This resonates with the flaw of Mark, or Marcelarian. Coffee Cat, now that you're here.
We were
actually, Fox, I won't take the words out of your mouth. I think you need to call Coffee Cat into your office.
Yeah, Coffee Cat, come here. So I'm gonna need another last name for your character. There's no reason in particular. Just gonna need like another last. You could. Yeah, totally. Half elves have 2 last names. That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely can't merge your 2 names together and call you Marcelarian instead of Mark. That would be weird. And yes, those 2 flaws jive pretty well. Okay, so Marcelarian Aldsman. Let's go with that, Maddie. Let's run. Let's bail.
2 steps ahead. Yep. Yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop. Ha ha, we got you. Hey, Cake Boss. Now, can you find this theme anywhere else?
The leaving people theme?
Yes.
I mean, there's a mirror on Rayorn there. It's sort of the mirror of this theme, which is, yes, leave people behind, and Rayorn's is don't leave people behind.
Yes. However, there's also at least a partial, right? I struggle to leave the military behind in a concept, right?
Right.
We don't have to highlight the entire point.
Interesting.
And could this also be, so we've connected 3 flaws. Can we connect the ideal of Machoul? When people follow orders blindly, they embrace a kind of tyranny.
Yes, Lady.
And so this person might very well run as well. And so it's not just saying, well, they all have flaws, because they all have flaws. They all have personality bonds and such. Where else now can we find a connection? And I will challenge you, Fox, don't just look among the personality traits, the ideals, bonds, and flaws. They can be all or parts of that, but there's more to consider. And I want you to point out, it doesn't even have to resonate with everyone, because not all the characters will always resonate. But I want you to point out a couple resonation points that are standing out to you here.
Well, the Bard, Marcelarian, and Rayorn are... They both have troubled pasts, but they're both trying to be optimistic, look optimistically towards the future. We also have themes of the Fae, with Half-Elf, and Gnome, and Oath of Ancient, and Archfey Warlock.
Oh, okay, hang on, you're getting ahead of me here. You are absolutely correct. So we're going to highlight Half-Elf, and let's just make this green.
Green. Got you there. Mwahaha.
Oh, there we go. All right. And we have a forest gnome.
Right. Dabble
that
stabble.
Is Oath of Ancients.
Oh, you see a huge combo? Go ahead, Bubonic One. Have a huge combo. Combo. That's a thing, right? That's a reference to something. Actually, play a lot of fighters. Oh, okay, you want me to catch it. Yeah, one of those. One of those. Not exactly sure. Okay. They've all crossed someone. They've all crossed someone. All of them.
All right, point out the connections.
Well, Marcelarian stole from an important person. Machoul had this monstrous enemy. Dabble Stabble has this dragon thing. That dragon thing, that part of the backstory.
Oh, sure. We can. I think that is part of what led to being the paladin, or otherwise, because you can write little notes underneath this as well. One thing I didn't write down that I normally do is I put a little like fun fact or two about a character that can summarize a backstory, and we can highlight portions of the backstory. So that's absolutely correct.
Gotcha.
We'll put that because it was kind of a disaster, and Dabble Stabble was stepping up to help people.
That's the reason why Dabble Stabble left home, essentially.
Yeah.
And Dabble Stabble also has this enemy in a record or something.
And what's Rayorn's connection in this?
Rayorn's connection is also backstory related.
Okay.
There was also an enemy in that. There was also an enemy in their backstory. Sorry.
And I'm gonna highlight soldier for that.
Right. That's good. That's a good thing.
And so these are enemies, or at least if they're not enemies or big bad evil guys, they're foils. They're antagonists. They're
love me a good.
What's that?
I do love a good antagonist. And yes, I will only refer to him by his last name moving forward, Pete. You've got it. I mean, that's the part of his name I adore, so.
And I'll tell you what. Let's highlight one other thing. But maybe this is something. What is something that only two of the characters share, in your opinion?
Only two.
Because I do want to share, because we have something that all the characters share. We have something that three of the characters share. What is something that only two of the characters share that can serve as a more intimate bond between them?
The two soldiers, or...
Well, is it by being a soldier? Because if you remember, Machoul is a soldier, quote unquote, but he's
Quote
more
unquote.
like he's a merchant marine. He was an independent, he was a hired guard as a soldier.
Right. I remember one. I remember it loosely, but I didn't write notes. So, can you help me fill in the blank?
Okay. So we have.
Hi, Orcs. They're kind of both military rank, but Machoul is only one. He's more of a mercenary, as Maddie said earlier. They're not the same kind of soldier. That's not quite the same thing.
We have a shared bond. Well, it's not a shared bond. The bond between Rayorn, I'm going to color this light gray, and the personality trait of Dabble Stabble. There is someone or people that are very important to them. So they hold on to a relationship in some way.
I see.
And so this is something that connects them. Now, if we want something else that can connect two others in its own way, if maybe only by opposites, take a look at the background feature of Dabble Stabble that we'll highlight with a kind of a, I don't know, turquoise or something. And
Outlander.
City Secrets.
Yeah, they're very contrasty.
You know, they each can get around in these different biomes. They can each survive in these biomes. And so while they're different, you know, one is out in the wilderness and one is in the city, these are still very valuable skills and effectively the same skills applied differently. So these two can perhaps form some kind of a bond or a concept between them that the others can't. Because you know what? They both have military rank as a feature, but if you accepted Machoul the way that he was proposed to you, Machoul doesn't have military rank per se.
Yeah,
He has cool points in a mercenary guild, or he might, you know, bear a tattoo or some scars or like a medal in a private army or something along those lines. But he can't pull rank the same way that an honorably discharged naval soldier has.
Right, of course. Bubonic mentioned that he saw something. What did you see, Bubonic? But yeah, there's a lot of different sorts of connections. I prefer the visual style, but I can see how the text would be helpful as well.
And honestly, if you do it one way or the other, it is so easy to just come back into the paint or whatever, and come back and just fill all this in, and you can have a super complete. Now that said, don't feel like you ever have to just. You have to have all 5 charts in front of you at all times, and suddenly you're that meme that you were talking about, where you have information just sort of like like Matrix style flowing over your eyeballs to make sure that every iota of every part of character is being is connected and touched upon in all of this.
You jest, but I like seeing information presented in a variety of different ways.
It's good to have options, right? Tools in your tool belt.
Yep, and that's probably something that stems from my computer science background, but I definitely see and enjoy like a matrix style of connections, because you can pull so much. And Bubonic says military armies often hire mercenaries, and they will also hire outlanders as mercenaries. That's a 3-way link he can see. Which is another link.
That could be, depending on Dabble Stabble's involvement.
Right.
If you wanted to make one more, you could always then connect where Rayorn says, I often try to pull rank or otherwise enforce discipline on my now civilian lifestyle. We have someone who has been in a similar situation, and so the soldier background, we might be able to connect with this, with try to pull rank. And so these two, it might not be a wholesome connection, or maybe this is offering, maybe Rayorn is actually the person who can make a connection with Machoul, who is too cool for everyone. Right? He's independent. He's chaotic neutral. I do my own thing, babe. And
babe,
and
really?
So maybe Rayorn sees a part of himself in Machoul and tries to help him in some way. And by pulling rank and keeping Machoul organized over the course of the adventures, Machoul might respond to that because he's at least used to taking orders, even if he is independent.
Yeah, that's another possible connection. Although that one's more on the players.
By the way, if, these are all starting to come out of the woodwork here. If we're connecting sort of 2 at a time. I place no stock in wealthy or well-mannered folk, and Machoul has a crude sense of well, it's not an adventure; it should be a crude sense of humor.
Yep.
So Machoul tells an awesome fart joke on deck, and Dabble Stabble is like, "Hey, Lamau."
Wow, did you just say Lamau?
Yep.
Oh, Maddie.
In fact, this would end up bonding 3 of them because Marcelarian grew up with nothing, no money.
Yep.
So money and manners, and so this would actually be a point of contention because Rayorn is polite and respectful. So Dabble Stabble is, you know, it doesn't mean that Dabble Stabble is going to put a dagger in Rayorn's back, but Dabble on this point is going to have connections, and so now we can see how do you have. You know, it just blindly. If I told you, if I just met you and we knew that we could speak D&D language, and I told you that I have a chaotic neutral, neutral good, lawful neutral, and neutral evil characters in a party, and they get along fantastically, would you believe me, or would you question me on that?
No, I believe you. I'm of the camp that I'm of the camp that you can totally have evil characters in a mostly good party. And I'm not against having evil characters, as long as they're not, you know, as long as they follow the rule of no PK. And I don't know why an evil character would, because the evil character's party is like their thing. It's theirs. They own it, essentially. That's their people, and when you need someone to do the dirty work, your evil friend is always there, so the good guys don't have to.
Yeah, why kill off people who are, you know, going to do work for you?
Right. And why hurt the guy who is a necessary evil, clearly? Very necessary evil, that's totally it.
That blue probably blocks things out for folks. But anyway, all right, so I think the exercise gets the point across in ways that you can visualize the connections between, amongst the group. And in your own way, as the dungeon master, this helps you get to know the characters. It also provides inspiration for storylines. Like if you take a look at this as it is, has this helped you to think of adventures, to think of ways that you can pluck various strings?
Yes and no. As the fledgling sort of DM that I am, I don't have a lot of confidence in my ability to pluck at those strings with skill, but that's probably just going to come down to, you know, in time invested.
It will. Do you feel this is a good start? Does this provide you a glimmer of hope?
Oh yeah.
A light on the horizon?
I wasn't trying to suggest otherwise. I was just saying, like, you know, it's still daunting, but it's more manageable when you have all of this information at your disposal.
Well then, I'll tell you what. Why don't we get up and take like a 10-minute stretch break, get a snack and a drink, do what we got to do, and when we come back, since we've compiled this information, we're getting to know the party. Let's talk about the setting of this adventure you'd like to run, and we're gonna take your notes. And I think you've added to them, and you have, you have some more ideas. We're gonna put down your ideas.
Oh, hi, Plunder. Welcome.
Hey, Plunderloot, welcome.
We're gonna take a break real shortly.
We'll extract some. What's that?
I just told him that we were gonna take a break real quick.
Oh, yep. 10-minute break. We'll extract some information from the group to make some very organic, content that should hopefully hook them in. And as a way for you to also come up with even more ideas for your region, because again, if you have options and tools in your tool belt, it makes you super flexible and super adaptable.
Right. You know, the good thing about naval campaigns is that you can make them not leave the island.
Yeah, a storm blows you ashore. It's going to be 3 weeks until the ship is fixed.
Yeah, looks like you're stuck here for a while to deal with the plot.
Wink. Obvious wink.
Wink, wink, nudge.
All right, so let's 10-minute break, everyone, and we'll come back and continue our excruciating slog through this very not fun game. And why are you even playing this?
Yeah, clearly not fun. Let me see how it is. Okay. Have a good